The return to face-to-face is a topic widely discussed among the university community, but the teaching community and the student community, for the most part, are eager to return to normal classes as we knew them. March 12, 2020 was a tragic day for the UNA. Classes were cancelled that day due to protests demanding quarantine due to the first 2 cases of COVID that were reported in the country. And although the cancellation at first seemed to be only a couple of days, in the end the pandemic wiped out infections and put the entire national territory in absolute and permanent quarantine. Since then, the university has been forced to continue teaching its classes with the absolute virtuality model in most careers despite not being fully prepared for it. Despite the fact that statistics show that in Honduras most of the population is poor and doesn't have access to permanent and stable internet connectivity, the UNA did not give up and did not stop in its work of educating. Today, at the end of 2021, after almost 2 years of this virtual system, there is so much rumor about the possibility of returning to face-to-face classes the following year, mainly due to the notorious advance in vaccinations against COVID. Even certain faculties have already officially announced a semi-face-to-face model, and many other sectors have already been practicing it. Is the university really prepared for a normal or progressive return to face-to-face classes? Or will we only be putting the entire population at risk of the highest educational institution? We are going to talk about that more in this video so that you can draw your own conclusions. So let's get started.
Hi, I'm going to talk about current situation of vaccination against COVID in Honduras. Honduras has administered at least 7,960,942 doses of COVID vaccine so far. Assuming every person needs 2 doses, that's enough to have vaccinated about 40.8% of the country's population. During the last week reported, Honduras averaged about 9,720 doses administered each day. At that rate, it will take a further 209 days to administer enough doses for another 20% of the population. Honduras is reporting 91 new infections on average each day, 30% of the peak, the highest daily average reported on August 17. UNICEF is supporting the government in communication, strategy, social media, distribution, promotion, advocacy for vaccines investment. The country has already secured the vaccine for the Honduran population. In our country, we have Moderna vaccine that has been approved in 79 countries. We have a Sputnik vaccine that has been approved in 74 countries and AstraZeneca in 47 countries.
I do not think that the university is prepared for a face-to-face return, at the least at the beginning of the next year, disconsidering that we still do not know what will happen with the Omicron variant. Statistically speaking, only a 44% of the population is vaccinated. 37.6% of the population is completely vaccinated, and of this percentage I do not think that more than 7% are university students. We know that some countries have already returned to blended learning due to their training needs, such as laboratories or classes. But if we talk about a general return, I think I think it will be a bet in every sense of the word, since, as I said before, we do not know what will happen with the Omicron variant. The UNA has a large infrastructure and a large number of classrooms, but that does not mean that it guarantees the responsibility of the people. Already as an institution, I think it has the capacity. But I repeat, that depends on how the country is in relation to COVID-19 at the beginning of 2022. Finally, I will cite that the semi-presence has already begun, but if you want return in any way, I hope this is only in aspects that are really necessary.
Although virtuality has allowed classes to continue developing, it is clear that the face-to-face education model has greater benefits in students' learning. Although virtuality serves to follow the academic process in young people, presence is vital, not only for learning but also for the development of socio-emotional skills. So, with regard to learning, we can say that young people are multisensory. We learn through the body and experiences, in contact with the other, in contact with the learning experience, from the material and the concrete. In my opinion, returning to face-to-face classes will be beneficial for all students, but I think it will be more necessary for students in health areas, because practical things have to be learned very well, and virtually the necessary knowledge will not be obtained. In fact, the first students who have retaken face-to-face classes are dental students. Also, the Faculty of Engineering will be one of the careers to start this piloting back to face-to-face classes to develop exams and laboratory practices. This will be done after this faculty develops a document for the return of around 70 subjects in person.
Now I am going to comment on some precautions about returning from class in person at UNA. First, it is to distance yourself when receiving class, not to grow with 5 or more people, and the recommendation to take first is to use the correct use of the mask, and do not remove it until there is a reason why. It is necessary to wash your hands constantly and always carry your antibacterial gel with you. Also, apply your 2 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine. When someone has any symptoms, notify them and seek help. Disinfect the areas where we receive their class. Do not expose yourself near people with symptoms. Do a PCR test in case of suspicion. Implement the figure of health manager. Always measure the temperature when entering. Have extra masks. When eating, eat away from others. Do not share drink with anyone within the institution. Always carry alcohol. Sanitize hands before touching your face, your mouth, your eyes, your nose. Be scattered. Do not share study utensils. Bring your own food, avoid crumbs, disinfect yourself before and after entering the institution, do not stay in the hallways, it is recommended to carry vaccination card.
In conclusion, the university was never really prepared to teach the virtual model, and it is not completely prepared to return to the present. It represents a danger for the students and teachers of the UNA to return to normal classes with the new variant of COVID that appearing and cause effect have not yet been well studied to prevent them. Not all Soviets need face-to-face classes, so may continue to operate the online mode in order to protect the population from new infection. The university is not ready for back to school, but it is not ready to teach carries that need to be face-to-face, such as carries in the health area where contact with patients is needed to learn. The university you must choose which ones do not. Thus implement measures to take care of students who must take risk to learning. Keep students who receive virtual classes safe and choose alone time for more ideas of safety measures for law students and return all safely.